Alright, what I have here today is a micro RC car that I bought from Radio Shack. I paid $7.99 for it. They were clearancing out their toys from Christmas, is what it was. And it comes in this little bubble here, and this is the original boxing. And it's labeled as the Atomic Racers 1/64 scale micro RC. It's labeled for 6 years and up. They did have a couple of different channels, so you could actually race these if you wanted to when I was there, or at least at my store. And they had a couple different body styles. They had a car and then an SUV. Had this car and then an SUV. Then they had a couple of different colors. Apparently, this is being distributed by EB Brands out of Hazleton. I'm not sure what PA is. I can't remember. Guess I should have paid more attention in geography, or American history, one of the two. But it looks like the website's www.goexrc.com, and you might be able to see it there. And then they've got a service number, or service email account that you can go to. But I'm gonna start right off with my first major quarrel with this. And that is, this has an antenna. Quite literally, you screw an antenna into the back of it and extend it. I'm not looking for a 2.4 gigahertz radio system and something I paid $7.99 for, but I would have thought that they could have done a wire, that's what I'm looking for, a wire-based antenna, and just wrapped it around here a couple times, or maybe ran it up into the lid. And I think that would have been much more convenient, and probably would have been cost-effective, really. And would have also made it a lot easier for kids, because you can't leave this in or it's going to snap off whenever you're storing it. But I also noted, because you can see right through this clear plastic here, that the piece of sheet metal that this threads into is just soldered onto the circuit board, and there's no real additional support for the antenna or that plate. And I just see it snapping off. That's my thought, opinion. I don't see good things coming from that. The batteries are not hard to access, but in a good way, it'll be harder for a small kid, because they're recommending this for ages 6 to be able to get to the batteries. There's a quarter turn lock that holds the cover on, and it takes 2 AA's. I'm currently using rechargeables, and as an important note, if you do own one of these, make sure to buy some good batteries. If you're using rechargeables, you don't get a whole lot of variance between them, other than just capacity, but that's a new idea. But you don't get a whole lot more other than just different capacities. But with the alkalines versus rechargeables, you get a whole lot more voltage, and it'll actually charge this up to a higher internal capacity than the rechargeables. This actually has a small nickel metal hydride cell in it. Only reason I know that's because I took this apart. But I guess that's about it on the main complaints, other than, I'll get to the next one, my main complaint on this soon. It actually has adjustable, so that you can adjust the track on the steering. It's got a little flipper down here. And now mine's probably going to go hard left. It's not easy to adjust, by the way. You got to have fingernails, and a kid probably won't be able to mess with it. But pretty simple construction, clear plastic body. It's attached at the front and the back. This little slider axle can actually be knocked out, and if a kid trashed one of these, or actually burn it up or trash the controller, it could be used as a little roll toy pretty easily. An adult should be able to take the lid off and take the motor out and the rest of the electronics and make it freewheel pretty easily. It literally is just all snapped together except for the soldered terminals, but everything pretty much snaps together on it. Battery's fully charged, and of course this floor isn't completely clean, but you'll get the idea. Most of that's me hitting debris. And apparently me messing with the steering was a bad idea. Huh. Well, it's kind of looking like this was a good thing I had this on video. It seems, and I could be wrong, that the steering burnt out on this already. Huh. Well, I'm getting a little bit of action out of it. Well, I did. Well, anyhow, when the steering was working, it had a pretty decent turn radius, and I didn't have any complaints about that. And the speed's about right, in my opinion, for a little micro like this, especially if kids are going to be playing with it. But my main complaint about this was actually range. About the farthest range that you can get out of this is about 5 foot from the antenna, which sounds like a decent bit, but when you're standing up or sitting in a chair that's elevated, it doesn't really turn into a whole lot. And with a little kid, they're going to follow it, so it's not going to be too big of a deal. But for a lazy adult like me, where I want to sit in a chair and run it, unless you're on a tabletop, you run out of that range pretty quick. I'm not really sure why the steering is not working. It could be the batteries in my controller are starting to go dead. I'll do another little addition to this or something if it turns out that I can't get the steering to work. But normally the first indicator that the batteries are going dead, or the battery in it is discharged pretty far, is the steering. So it's entirely possible that that is the problem. And for some reason I'm having issues in plugging this little bugger in. Here's the hole. There we go. And that's one of my other problems. I don't think that this is actually easy enough for a child to clip the car in. I could be mistaken, but I have difficulty with it at certain moments. But that's pretty much it. And for the most part, I'm just caught in the fence. I don't know whether, if the steering just went out of this, I would say definitely don't buy it. If the steering is alright, I would probably say it's an alright deal, not a great one.